Toni Kroos may not be long retired, but he's thrown Celtic Football Club straight into the fire because he's labelled them as nothing more than second-class opposition. Damn! Let's break it down. Welcome back to Fog Football, and he was actually speaking about Borussia Dortmund. Dortmund, right? Toni Kroos, obviously, retired. Great footballer. Not really much else to say about the guy, but great footballer. And he's actually got stuck straight into Celtic. Now, of course, Borussia Dortmund had actually crashed to a 2-1 defeat at Union Berlin on the weekend there, which left them 7th in the Bundesliga, which is 3 wins from 6. So Toni Kroos wanted to talk about this. Now, of course, he retired at the end of last season as the most decorated German player of all time, having won 34 trophies. Aimed a dig at Celtic as he assessed Dortmund's start to the campaign. He says, and I quote, "I think the last week was the classic example of a Borussia Dortmund week. They won 7-1 in the Champions League, even if it has to be said that was against a second-class opponent. And then they went to play a Bundesliga game at the weekend and put in a typically poor performance and lost. In the end, Dortmund will be judged by how they do in the Bundesliga, not in Europe." End of quote. So, second-class opponent, second-class opposition. Is it a dig for Toni Kroos, or is it just the reality that we live in 2024? I think it's just the reality. You know, first-class opponent in Europe is are teams that are, you know, can actually compete in the Champions League and go far. You know, there's only a select few. I wouldn't say there's a lot. Are Celtic a second-class opponent in that right? They are. People in this video can jump into the comment section and great, but that's just for Scottish football is, folks, in 2024. Toni Kroos is right. We're just not that good. Could Brendan Rodgers have set it up differently and potentially got a result instead of going gun-ho? Absolutely. But it could have been more than 7-1. You know what I mean? Schmeichel kept it for being like 10-1. And all that good stuff. But Toni Kroos then went on to say they won't make it to the Champions League final every year. They have to finally show some consistency in the league. I think we can say that Dortmund should be doing better in the league for many years now. Then he went on to speak about Celtic Park. Celtic Park! The UCL anthem started and I thought the stadium was going to collapse. Incredible. I'd never experienced anything like that. End of quote. So, as you can see, he's been waxing lyrical about the Parkhead atmosphere that he experienced 2 years ago. Of course, though, he was at the heart of that Carlo Ancelotti midfield as Madrid survived the first half Celtic onslaught, of course, and they ended up winning 3-0. So, I mean, how long, right, are we actually going to talk about how well Celtic played against Real Madrid for, like, 45 minutes? They didn't win the game. That is small club talk, man. It is. And I think a lot of Celtic fans will acknowledge that. You're a big club. Of course you are. We've got a fid coming out in that very soon about who's the biggest in Scotland. Big clubs don't hang on to the fact that they outplayed Real Madrid for 30 minutes. And I'm not going, well, and Rangers beat them in a friendly 2-1. No, I'm not going to come out and say that because it's a friendly, man. No one gives a shit about a friendly. It's about the competitive games at the end of the day. Perfect. I mean, that is low-hanging fruit, man. That is low-hanging fruit. The apples getting dragged across the orchard floor, man. I'm not going to even entertain that. I'm not even going to bother picking that up. But as for the second-class opposition, we are. I mean, it's, Scottish football, Rangers and Celtic, we are second-class opposition in Europe. Yeah, Rangers have done pretty good in recent years, but, we're not the first class. I mean, first class, you're talking, Barca, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, those sort of teams. We're not on that level. Scottish football, we're not. And, some people might, I mean, you have to accept it, man. We're not. The league's not as bad as what people make it to be, right? So we can compete in Europe, but we're not first-class opponents, man. We're not. First-class clubs, second-class quality is how I would describe it out there. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it here on Fog Football. Leave your thoughts down below. We'll be back soon. Like I said, there'll be a video regarding who's the biggest club in Scotland. A lot of comments, a lot of reacting. I believe it's about 45 minutes long. We're also ranking every team's season so far. That'll be out on the channel relatively soon also. So yeah, guys, leave your thoughts down below. And until next time, peace.